Hey guys, Metal Viking 82 here, back with another Viking Orations. Got yet another review for you today, and this time I'm going to be talking to you about the debut EP from the band Haserot, entitled Throne of Malice. Now, if you're not familiar with this band, they are a death metal band from Houston, Texas. Been around since 2019, featuring Maurice Eggenschweiler on guitars, Brandon Johnson also handling the guitars, Benjamin Yeager on bass, Kryptos Grimm on drums. He is also in the band Spectral Manifest, another awesome Texas band. And finally, Justin J. McKittrick on vocals. As I said, this is their debut EP. It is 5 tracks, just a little over 21 and a half minutes in length. And honestly, I've been anxious to hear something from this band since I saw Kryptos, who I'm actually friends with on Facebook, post about them on Facebook. And then, after all the waiting and seeing posts about, all the practices that they're doing and, their first upcoming first gig and all this other stuff, is finally announced that they're going to be releasing this EP, and the promo hits my inbox. And I gotta say, the wait was worth it. I mean, right off the bat, when you first press play on this, the first thing that struck me was the bass. And of course, you know me, I love bass. It's thick and heavy toned with a little twang to it right up in the mix, very easily heard throughout this entire EP. And, again, this is a release that the bass tone reminds me a lot of Terry Butler. I was listening to it and I just got that Terry Butler vibe off of the bass alone. Now, equally heavy toned are the guitars on here, and they're hitting you with these mid-paced riffs with some faster, kind of thrashier moments and some really killer solos. This is definitely kind of like the old school, kind of almost thrashier style of death metal. At times, I get a death vibe off of the guitars as well. Perfect example, the lead off track, Forging the Ossuary at the 132 mark. That whole guitar tone really sounded like, or should I say that guitar section sounded really like something that Death would have done. And I also get some bolt thrower in their sound as well. Again, going back to track number 1, right off the bat, the double bass work and that guitar tone and that riff and everything screamed bolt thrower to me. You get into track number 2, Incantations at Dusk. At the 38-second mark, this is a tremolo style riff that comes in, and it happens again at about the 117 mark. That has a bit of a black metal feel to it, especially when it's combined with those blast beats underneath. So yeah, they definitely, aren't just sticking strictly to the thrashier and death metal style riffs here. The drum production on here I thought was really solid. It's very powerful sounding, some really good patterns, rolls, and fills, lots of solid double bass work and blast beats. And honestly, it sounds like Kryptos is just hitting the snare with authority. There's just times it just sounds like he's just wailing on that snare, and I just loved that. Topping everything off are Justin's vocals, and I think he turns out a really killer performance here. It's got a nice mid-range growl with these gnarly sounding screams thrown in, and at times he goes even lower in his growls, and he even uses some vocals that kind of remind you of Sean McGrath of Impaled and Ghoul fame. So yeah, again, solid vocal performance here. Overall, I think this is just a hell of a debut offering from this band. It's another fine slice of Texas-style death metal. As I've said, Texas knows how to do extreme metal. Their scene is absolutely killer, and this is another perfect example of what the Texas scene has to offer. The whole EP has this old-school death metal feel and approach to it, and considering these guys are veterans of the scene, that really should come as no surprise to anybody. This is definitely a release you'll find yourself going back to again and again, as I found myself doing. So like as soon as it's done, I would hit play again and listen to it again. And, I would listen to it 2 and 3 times in a row. And then, of course, I'd have to take a break because I didn't want to get tired of it. But, again, this is a release you just can't help but want to come back to. Yeah, I give this a solid 9.5 out of 10. So, yeah, go check out the single here on the Haserot Bandcamp, which actually, I believe, it's actually the Redefining Darkness Bandcamp. This EP comes out May 27th. My birthday, so happy birthday to me, on Redefining Darkness Records. So yeah, that is going to do it. I will leave all the links down below. Go check out Haserot. 9.5 out of 10 from me. You will not be disappointed if you love old school death metal, and especially Texas style old school death metal. So yeah, that is going to do it. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and until next time. stay brutal.